A statement, Graves says the city lost a prominent community leader who died from the very violence he dedicated his life to fighting against. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Blindster is a family-run business that began in 2010, and we've sold millions of custom blinds, shades, and shutters and received over 100,000 five-star reviews. Don't hire an expensive pro. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
Is this the time?
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
I'm a bad man.
Bronny James had another productive game for the Lakers rookie team in the NBA Summer League in Las Vegas. LeBron's son had 13 points, 3 assists, and 2 block shots in 25 minutes against Cleveland. Lakers first-round pick Dalton Knecht had 20 points and 7 rebounds and was 4 for 4 at the free throw line. The Lakers won the game by 4. In the Russell Westbrook trade that sent him to Utah, the Clippers are getting back a 30-year-old guard named Chris Dunn. The Clippers will be his 6th team in 9 NBA seasons. Dunn was a first-round pick of Minnesota in 2016, but he was traded a year later. Tiger Woods did not have a good first day at the British Open. He finished 8 over 79 in the first round to finish in a tie for 138th place. Woods needs to shoot in the low 70s in today's second round to make the cut. If he doesn't, this will be the 3rd straight majors tournament where he has failed to make the cut. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is the fastest growing talk radio station in Southern California. Home to 50,000 watts and an audience reach of 12 million listeners. KBLA Talk 1580 is a pioneer for Black audio content, including our groundbreaking $2 million climate justice campaign and the most loyal, influential audience. According to an independent research study by the polling firm Aviterus, for the 2nd consecutive year, KBLA Talk 1580 is the most trustworthy, reliable, and credible news source for Black audiences and beyond in Southern California. Let KBLA Talk 1580 power your advertising dollars. Our omni-channel custom marketing solutions are specifically tailored to connect with your ideal target audience. We leverage audio, podcasts, streaming, digital, social media, and local activations to get your message out to the Black community. Get in touch with our advertising team today at advertising@KBLA1580.com. That's advertising@KBLA1580.com. KBLA 1580. We've got you Black.
First things first.
Things first, it's the DU General, Money B. I'ma put you up on the schedule, 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not 2 and 7. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First Black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DiPrima go way back. Tag Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted Black and Brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the move. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DiPrima. Go sis.
First things first.
KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dominique DiPrima. This show is called First Things First. And my first thing today and every day, giving thanksgiving praises, asking for blessings from God, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders, and getting it moving. Happy Friday. It's giving TGIF. Okay, so this is the show that we do on Fridays. Hour 1, we talk about local things. What's going on the left coast? Hour 2, we do Freedman Friday, where we have a comprehensive reparations conversation meant to keep you in the know, up to date, and part of the solution when it comes to achieving the repayment of a debt that is owed to Black America, reparations. And hour 3, we do whatever we're doing. Today, it's all about you. There's lots of room for you today. In fact, I'm going to give an amnesty day today. If you've already called, even if your name is, what's that guy's name? The guy with the Jewish name, but he's a black guy.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever his name. Yeah, like, I'm not going to promise I won't hang up on you. But I give amnesty. Calls for everybody. You get a phone call, and you get a phone call, and you get a phone call. 800-920-1580. 800-920-1580. Hey, if Donald Trump can drone on and on for 92 minutes on television, you can call in twice in a week. Just don't be rambling and discombobulated like that dude. That's a good word, huh? Discombobulated. If I had to describe DJT's speech in one word, it would be discombobulated. 800-920-1580. Who's rambling? Who's having cognitive difficulty? Who's old? Who's boring? Okay, so we got a lot to talk about, and you can call me now. You can call me at 8. You can call me during Freedman Friday. We will be talking with Massachusetts State Senator Liz Miranda, who's part of the reparations task force there. And it's part of our information and knowledge about all of the progress that is being made in the area of reparations all across the country. And yes, across the world too. But we call it Freedman Fridays because we're mostly focused on, like they say in Milwaukee, USA, USA. Hey, I'm a patriot. I'm just a progressive one. It's funny, I was having a conversation yesterday with a friend. It's like we cannot leave patriotism to those people who hate justice, who hate black people, who hate extensive vocabulary. Okay, let me not sound like a snob. Well, look, I come from a family of writers and readers, okay? We cannot leave patriotism to people that hate us. We cannot leave patriotism to people who are liars, who would gloss over the history, the bumps and bruises of our country. How can it be actually beautiful and actually live up to its promise if we're not honest about where we are and how we got here? That's what a true patriot does. And we cannot leave God to those folks either. You know? Okay, God bless America. God bless Lamert Park. God bless you. And I say that and I mean it. I'm not even being funny. Why do we let these people have that space? I think Jesus was a child last time Donald Trump went to church. And yet he has the evangelicals. You know, and patriotism to him means profit for me and my family, and the rest of you guys will leave you in the streets to die. I mean, that's literally what it means. If you look at the policies, because it's really not about the person. I could give a rat's backside about the person. It's about the policies and the prevarication, the lying. It's the lies for me. I don't know. I didn't count them. I was struggling to stay awake. I admit it was really hard to keep paying attention, and sometimes I drifted off. So why am I not watching House of Dragons right now? Okay, but for all that, it was a very informative evening last night, the last night of the RNC, and today is exactly 1 month before the Democratic National Convention opens in Chicago. It was a very well-produced Republican National Convention, and we can talk about that. I know there's a lot of local stuff that we want to talk about, and honestly, every time I start to discuss these things and bring them up, you guys pivot right back to the national race, which of course does impact us locally, and I'm fine with that. I just, I'm not trying to ignore what's going on here. We have a very important and toxic race for district attorney, which is actually could be considered an existential threat if you think about the fact that we're talking about going backwards to an era of criminalizing black people and trying to arrest our way out of everything. The crazy enhancements, the pile-on of time on top of time, the three strikes mentality that leads to disproportionate sentences, and the repression, the targeting of our community. Now, one of the things that most concerns me about the district attorney's race here in LA is that a lot of the same people who are falling for the MAGA okie doke, and I'm talking about black people right now, are the same people that are telling me that DA Gascon is letting crime run rampant. Well, one, you're not looking at the statistics, and I know no one cares about that. It's whether or not you feel safe. But I want to know what is actually happening, not just what I think is happening. What is actually happening is crime is not up, actually. Yes, there has been retail crime, and that is over-reported. Because it's spectacular footage and it plays into a certain narrative. But when you look at violent crime, your chances of being dead, of being unalived, are actually lower right now than most times in LA history. So people are not being let out of jail in droves. The number of folks being sentenced and prosecuted remains robust. But it's concerning to me that we as black people are falling for the same line, some of us, a very small number, I would say, the same line on the national scene as we are here locally, and that people are turning against DA George Gascon. And I would like us to refer back to the study, the data that KBLA pulled about us and public safety, because it's not just informative to other communities about what we think, it should be informative to us about the truth of what's going on and who we are. And one of the things that study by Vitteris and KBLA Talk 1580 found when it talked to Angelenos, black Angelenos, about our attitudes regarding public safety is that we want to be safer. We want security. For some, that means more cops. But just as important is we want better policing. We want police reform, comprehensive police reform. Well, when you get the DA and the LAPD in lockstep, a wholesale throw in the book at black people and sending us off to death row, like we saw under Jackie Lacey, who has now endorsed Nathan Hochman, that does not spell reform. That does not spell reform. That does not spell what we fought for in 2020 and before that, which is comprehensive and real change. And if Republicans can start yelling crime, 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 black on black, black on black, black on black every time, and you guys are just going to run and believe that, it's Charlie Brown with the football. Why do you believe the same lies every single time? No. I've been on the radio long enough to remember when y'all, and I say y'all because it wasn't me, I tried to tell you, fell for the three strikes BS. Oh, that's going to make us safer. No, it didn't. And so, we can't be fooled by the same little talking points, and I hope that we're not. And there's other things on the local scene. I bring it up because every time I seem to bring up what's going on in LA, we pivot to what's going on nationally. And I think what's going on nationally is much more depressing. That's what's going on the left coast. However, we can talk about all of it. I'm here for you. 800-920-1580. I also got a lot of response yesterday in my DMs, my personal texts, and even face-to-face encounters with my friends about a particular caller whose name didn't match his profile and his profile didn't match his politics, attacking me personally and wondering why would I countenance those kinds of personal attacks. And it's because I'm not scared. It's not that I want to have personal attacks against me, Miles. I just, when we say we open up the mic and all comers are welcome, I do that, and I mean it. Now, I'm not going to, and some folks said, well, perhaps I let him go on and on too much, and maybe so. maybe so. Someone who calls here to bully me and then calls me a bully. It's very Trumpian, and I get that. But I'm like, I do, other than he who shall not be named, I try to attack the policy, not the person, right, in this conversation, because I think that's where the truth is. That's where progress is. That's where we can get into discussions that are productive rather than, I know you are, but what am I? No, he didn't. Yes, he did. No, he didn't. Yes, he did. Let's get into things that can actually teach us and enlighten us, and that usually comes from attacking the policy rather than the person. Although sometimes I will indulge, especially when it comes to the Orange Menace. See, I just did a name-calling thing right there. I try not to do that. But my point is that we are, at KBLA Talk 1580, this is what actual freedom of speech, egalitarianism, democracy, multiracial liberties look like. Yeah, it's my show, and I can and will hang up on you. Okay? Yeah, it's my show, so I get to talk, and I get to decide whether you talk. But these are the public airwaves, and this station has a mission of dialogue and intellectual honesty. What about that? And that's rare. It's rare. The thousands of right-wing talk radio shows are not going to let you get on the air and attack their hosts. They're not even going to let you get on the air and attack their policies most of the time. If they do, they'll shut you down and then later edit you to make you look like you're the stupid one. So I thank you for the support, the love, the clapbacks from so many people. Molly Bell's comment in the chat that, we in the big time now because we have right-wing trolls calling the show. I thank you for all of the love and support. I truly do. And, I will probably keep letting folks call in. Ops, as y'all call them. It's too many options. 800-920-1580. Like I said, you get a call, you get a call, you get a call. It's Amnesty Day today. We all need to clap back and unpack and de-stress. If you watched the RNC this week or you didn't, or you want to talk about something completely different, you are invited in. We have time today. We are unapologetically outspoken, unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. Just a few short months ago, California Attorney General Rob Bonta filed 11 felony charges against Diana Turan, an assistant district attorney for Los Angeles County. The charges allege that Turan unlawfully accessed confidential computer data, including police officer files in 2018, and continued to use them after joining the DA's office in 2021. Ironically, Turan, who is now on administrative leave, oversaw the Public Integrity Division, responsible for handling high-profile cases of police misconduct and public corruption, including the charges brought against LA City Council member Karen Price last June. To be sure, the case against Price has raised plenty of eyebrows. Indeed, one noted legal scholar has said publicly, and I quote, "Everything about this prosecution reeks," close quote. Could AG Bonta, with aspirations to become California governor, be punishing Turan for her role in DA George Gascon's police accountability agenda to curry favor with police unions? Could DA Gascon be using the case against Price to showcase his tough stance on crime and political corruption as he vies to retain his seat as DA? Honestly, I have no idea, but here's what I know for sure. Karen Price has been elected and re-elected by thousands of voters, mostly black and brown, who stand to be further disenfranchised if this matter is not handled correctly, which is why it matters to us at KBLA Talk 1580. When the prosecutor is being prosecuted, it seems to me that at the very least, there ought to be a thorough, top-to-bottom, independent review of all cases under Diana Turan's purview to ensure that none of these cases have been tainted. Justice and fundamental fairness demand no less. If public trust truly matters. And I hope it does. For KBLA Talk 1580, I'm Tavis Smiley. We welcome your feedback.
So the thing no one tells you about periods is that your flow changes every day, and so should your tampon size. Tampax has 5 absorbencies to match your changing flow. If it's uncomfortable to remove, go down a size. If it leaks, go up a size. And only Tampax has a leak guard braid to help give you up to 100% leak and odor-free protection. All-day comfort and protection for up to 8 hours for under $5 a month. Based on average U.S. consumer usage at manufacturer's suggested price, however, pricing is at the sole discretion of the retailer, excludes 8-count packs.
Spray and scrub, but the soap scum in my bathtub is still there.
I spray and scrub, but the burnt sauce on my stovetop sticks around.
Sprays can leave grime behind, but new Mr. Clean Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser combines the scrubbing power of an eraser with the cleaning power of Dawn to melt away tough messes on contact.
Just wet, squeeze, and erase.
Stop spraying, start erasing, and clean with more magic than ever with new Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
So the thing no one tells you about periods is that your flow changes every day, and so should your tampon size. Tampax has 5 absorbencies to match your changing flow. If it's uncomfortable to remove, go down a size. If it leaks, go up a size. And only Tampax has a leak guard braid to help give you up to 100% leak and odor-free protection. All-day comfort and protection for up to 8 hours for under $5 a month. Based on average U.S. consumer usage at manufacturer's suggested price, however, pricing is at the sole discretion of the retailer, excludes 8-count packs.
Sometimes we lose, sometimes we win. Sometimes we try to fit it all in. Sometimes we don't know what's in store. Sometimes we find what we're looking for. Sometimes we're rolling easy and free. Sometimes 1 and 1 makes 3. So much to love along this ride. That's why Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and Affiliates, Columbus, Ohio.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Right now, let's get back to you. 800-920-1580. 800-920-1580. That's your way in. You're invited in all day today, even if you've called. And usually, we have call once a week and, all that good stuff. But we're suspending that today in honor of your mental health and mine. Let's go to Paul calling us from Los Angeles. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning, Dominique. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Blessed. I want to start the talk with just talking to my sisters. Black men love our black women. At the end of the day, we are all we have. There is a lot of grievances going on from the damage that has occurred to us and our people. The over-policing of our communities, the war on drugs. I've directly had situations with family members directly almost losing their home from the housing crash. My father served for a country that did not love him back. So a lot of this is misdirected anger. And I always remind our people, right, that Malcolm X directly talked about this. If you're not careful, the newspapers will have you hating the people who are being oppressed and loving the people who are doing the oppressing. And I just wanted to make sure you knew that, Queen, that we love you, and I love all my sisters at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, nobody understands what a black man goes through more than a black woman.
Well, we love you back. I mean, I think that's real, and I agree that there's misplaced anger all over our community, and righteous anger too. But I think that we have to hold the line on that love. You know what I mean? And I don't, when someone attacks me, it doesn't make me not love black men. It makes me pray for the redemption of their soul.
Right. And I'm happy you're saying that, because I always try to bring it back to, we have to make sure that we're holding the line. Because one thing, especially for our ancestors, that I always remind our people, if our ancestors had some of the mindset that people had, and there were some cases, I always remind people that we know about them today and we honor them today. But Malcolm and Martin, during their time frame, could you imagine if there was social media back then?
Ooh.
That's the reality that people don't acknowledge. during their time frame, but that never stopped either of those brothers and sisters during that time frame that still pushed because they understood the assignment. And what I see now that's going on is the oppressors are really good at, and that's why I don't trust mainstream media, because at the end of the day, mainstream media is doing, especially white mainstream media, is doing exactly what it was created to do, uphold oppression. We had literally Pete Wilson, a governor. Remember, California was a Republican state. We had a Republican governor on multiple occasions. And what's crazy is they showed images of the riots from the Rodney King riots on TV 24/7, and he used that to his advantage because the state of California alone created its own separate crime bill than what the one that happened federally.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We did. They did.
And that directly impacted the black community. Affirmative action. We know the results of removing affirmative action because we lived it here in California, and that directly had an impact on black men going to college. We know these facts. So when people say that, well, this is going to be a colorless society, that's a lie. We know that. So what I always tell people is I don't trust any of them. But at the end of the day, we have to live politics because I care not just about my children and your children, but I care about all of our children. And as long as we can understand that we're for each other and we're with each other, it's okay to agree to disagree on things. But the mission should always be the same, which is black progression. And Dominique, I told you, Queen, that what was going to happen with this situation with VP Harris and Biden. And now you're starting to hear they want to open up the ticket. These white people throughout history have always compromised with each other because at the end of the day, especially white men, are going to be okay. But in reality, these policies that they're talking, these Klan rallies that Donald Trump is heading at this point, they're all Klan rallies at this point.
Yep.
With mass deportation signs, I'm telling you right now, when they say poisoning the venom, the blood, and they're talking about the border, just know those are black kids too. Those are indigenous kids. Those are children of color. So when they're talking about basically reinstating Nazi Germany in concentration camps, don't act like that's not going to directly impact us. When he says they're going to shoot the criminals and he's going to give them full blanket pardons, don't act like that's going to impact black people. All I'm telling everybody to do is, regardless in this system, we got to hold the line because at the end of the day, we are all we have. Thank you, Queen.
Thank you, Paul. And I also want to thank you for, staying on this Project 2025. You're always talking about it in the chat. You're always talking about it on socials. And I feel like between Taraji P. Henson and a few folks like you, it's kind of caught the public imagination. And now people are asking about it and thinking about it. And I believe that that is going to make a difference in November. Yeah.
Trying to remember, the Epstein files were unwrapped. They were unsealed. His name is in there multiple times for what he's done to little girls. He's in there. If you want to read it yourself, don't trust me. They always divert the attention from what exactly is going on because people start reading Project 2025. And just to give people preference on this, they're going to cut your overtime pay. They're going after Obamacare, but they love ACA. But when you tell them Affordable Care Act is Obamacare, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They don't want to acknowledge it because they don't want to acknowledge the black man that actually got that through. That's in reality what that's really about. But in the actual Project 2025, they're talking about defunding and holding federal funds from schools that hold vaccination immunization requirements for children. We know the results of that because in Florida, you got polio and measles coming back from that. We know also in Project 2025, it directly talks about pulling children going through federally funded schools being essentially part of military enrollment. What kids are going to go to federally funded schools? Our children, the public schools.
Right, whereas the private schools won't have to register. Yeah, I mean, that's just a little sample. Paul, thank you so much for calling and for always having great information and great points. Time for news, traffic, and sports, and then you get a call, and you get a call, and you get a call. 800-920-1580, KBLA, Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Thank you for joining us, everyone. I'm Mike Moore. Now here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The Biden administration on Thursday announced another round of student debt forgiveness. This time around, it's $1.2 billion in relief for public sector workers like teachers, nurses, and firefighters. Borrowers can qualify through the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, created almost 2 decades ago and now expanded by the Biden administration. In Indianapolis, Indiana, anti-violence activist Ron G. is being mourned after a shooting. It happened Thursday. Though police have not identified the victim, Indianapolis City County Councilor Keith Graves released a statement confirming it was Ron G. In a statement, Graves says the city lost a prominent community leader who died from the very violence he dedicated his life to fighting against. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Blindster is a family-run business that began in 2010, and we've sold millions of custom blinds, shades, and shutters and received over 100,000 five-star reviews. Don't hire an expensive pro. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
I'm a bad man.
Bronny James had another productive game for the Lakers rookie team in the NBA Summer League in Las Vegas. LeBron's son had 13 points, 3 assists, and 2 block shots in 25 minutes against Cleveland. Lakers first-round pick Dalton Knecht had 20 points and 7 rebounds and was 4 for 4 at the free throw line. The Lakers won the game by 4. In the Russell Westbrook trade that sent him to Utah, the Clippers are getting back a 30-year-old guard named Chris Dunn. The Clippers will be his 6th team in 9 NBA seasons. Dunn was a first-round pick of Minnesota in 2016, but he was traded a year later. Tiger Woods did not have a good first day at the British Open. He finished 8 over 79 in the first round to finish in a tie for 138th place. Woods needs to shoot in the low 70s in today's second round to make the cut. If he doesn't, this will be the 3rd straight majors tournament where he has failed to make the cut. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Tips to help improve basic steps for building a budget in 2024. Building a budget can help you achieve and reach your financial goals. With a budget, you can keep track of your spending, avoid and get out of debt, limit overspending, pay bills on time, and build solid savings habits. What's the best way to get started? Figure out how much to set aside for expenses, like rent, mortgage, bills, groceries, and entertainment. Understanding your past financial habits can help you make the proper adjustments for your budget. Adjusting to a budget can take time as you work to find the right balance, but keep working on it. For more financial health tips, visit chase.com or stop by a local branch. This segment is sponsored by J.P. Morgan Chase & Company.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
I spray and scrub, but the soap scum in my bathtub is still there.
I spray and scrub, but the burnt sauce on my stovetop sticks around.
Sprays can leave grime behind, but new Mr. Clean Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser combines the scrubbing power of an eraser with the cleaning power of Dawn to melt away tough messes on contact.
Just wet, squeeze, and erase.
Stop spraying, start erasing, and clean with more magic than ever with new Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Indeed, I do thank you. 800-920-1580. You can weigh in. I'm just opening up topics this hour and the final hour of the show. And, of course, we'll do our Freedman Fridays conversation on Friday. For those trolls in the chat and on the phone, FYI, I'm not new to this. I have been doing talk radio specifically and fighting anti-blackness and fighting for rights and progress for my community for many, many years, decades, in fact. So, you know, if you know, you know. And if you don't know, act like you know. It's funny to me, too, that some of these folks in the chat and on the phone, like, trying to track my life. I'm sorry that you're so bored that you have to listen to and stalk a person that you find problematic. But I've been blessed to be on this mic and blessed to make a difference for most of my career. Even before I got on radio, when I was on TV, and still an activist, raised by activists, brought up at protests and picket lines, and it's not a new pursuit for me. Let's go to Kwamel, calling us from the fine city of Gardena. Hi, Kwamel.
Yeah, sometimes it's fine, sometimes it's not so fine. Wow, yeah, feeling fairly safe today. I was thinking about as you got to talking about the whole three strikes thing and how that came to be. I remember when I was a kid. I don't know what y'all might have had going on as an equivalent in the Bay, but down here, the Night Stalker. It was all over the local news, and I mean, I was scared spitless that the dude was gonna come into our home and just slaughter us all. One of the main serial killers at the time. And what I had no idea about was he wasn't coming in black areas like that, if at all. Black areas weren't his beat. And I had no idea how that whole thing worked. I figured he just terrorized all of Southern California, like he could just hit you at any time. So to get to the point about how we're kind of manipulated and destabilized, to think about what led to three strikes and things like that was we went through the whole crack 80s, crack 90s, with the hood politics taking further and further shape, and drive-bys popping off the whole nine. We're thinking like, oh no, we can't have this on me. So folks down here were like, well, we're gonna do whatever it takes because we ain't trying to have that, But the thing was, the destabilization was already happening. Once all the trapping was going down, and how they were just like taking our houses, battering them and everything. It was just too much, and it had already worked on our psyche. So we kind of get that fast forwards now, as we see all these, manosphere things, or other. Not, I don't want to blame it on just black men, but.
And I will interject this too. I will interject this too, Kwamel. You're right about the crack 90s, and then they passed the three strikes law, and it didn't get better. It did not get better until they got into the sort of grid model where we had, intervention, people from those communities, getting involved, stakeholders from community-based organizations, which many of which represented the elders, getting involved, and resources poured into those communities to give people alternatives and things to do and food to eat. Like, that's what made a difference. It wasn't the 3 strikes. The 3 strikes just put more people in jail and then created this, revolving door, to some degree, revolving until you get to 3 and then you stay there, and just tore apart families over dumb stuff. And you know that already, but I have to say it because I don't want it to sound like, well, we did this because the crack 90s and then we fixed it. No, that's not what fixed it.
Even then, it's the idea of a bad optic that allows for, oppressors to kind of bring their Nixonian, Trumpian justifications to just run up in and just start doing stuff. With like these war on drugs things, mass incarceration things, extrajudicial killing things. If they got some crazy optic on TV, smash and grab type stuff, that's what allows us to happen. And it's like my girl Jasmine Crockett says, it's the constant playing in our faces. It's just playing in our face every single time, and it's a lot to get back to the code of, no, we'll not let this fool us. This is just an optic to play to see if they can manipulate us, But it's going to take a lot to kind of build us back to code or get to a new code, and that's kind of what I'm trying to establish here. But yeah, it is funny, and I'll land on this note in the wake of seeing that whole cult show through the week, which I did not watch, because I knew it was going to be just a lot of corny, silly, everybody went on about
heavy on corny
sanitary napkin business.
Heavy on corny.
The Hulk Hogan, the Hulk Hogan thing, and I'm just like, are we really paying attention to ourselves? We really take any of this seriously, and we're sitting there trying to normalize this, and people are willing to allow this back in, and ultimately back to code. The discipline part, the discipline to know, okay, this is foolishness, and let's not lose ourselves, melt down, and just start allowing anything like this whole Adam Schiff business, and all these others are like, okay.
Are you mad at Adam Schiff for taking a public position that the president should step aside from his campaign?
Now, this is part of a wider effort where they've kind of already decided, okay, this is the move we're making, and Adam Schiff's just kind of throwing a thing out. Again, it speaks to lack of discipline I've been talking about for a few weeks now, and Schiff, back to that whole thing of propping up Steve Garvey, who wasn't really campaigning like that, just to knock away more progressive candidates than Barbara Lee and Katie Porter. It just throws away everything in goodwill that he was actually doing. I was like, okay, yeah, this man is real. This man is a patriot. He just threw all that away this year just to kind of keep himself in power and or rise to the next power. That kind of thing cannot be allowed. It cannot be just go unchallenged. This is my point, and I'm laying on this. All the stuff must be challenged, must be pushed back on to get back or get to a new code. I think for your time.
All right, I thank you, Kwamel. A lot of interesting points there. And, the rumor mill or the speculation mill is fast and furious right now. We're hearing that Barack Obama has said to Biden that he should reconsider his bid for re-election. Adam Schiff made public comments. There's rising speculation, and it hasn't cooled off in the press. I do agree with both Paul and Kwamel on this. I think that the mainstream media has taken an inappropriate role here in constantly calling for Biden to step away from his campaign and constantly questioning it and not doing the same for Donald Trump. How are we not asking Trump to step aside? He's got 34 felony convictions. He is in those Epstein documents, which I haven't read, but I've read some credible sources, and I need to go a little deeper on that. But apparently, his name is all over the Epstein documents as a client, as a connoisseur of children for his sexual pleasure. How is this not a problem? Pending cases, the rape liability in civil court. But, so fine, I can understand. I just feel like the mainstream media is playing a role that's inappropriate and beating the drum around Biden and his old age and polling problems, and not doing that whatsoever for DJT, just basically fawning over him. And then there was some disgruntled comments or making fun of the former president last night because he spoke for 92 minutes. It's the longest speech in convention history. And guess who came in second and third? Also Trump. You get a Gemini on the mic and just unleash them. Actually, I was kind of happy about that because I was hoping that it did remind people why they were sick of this guy by the time he got out of office, and maybe remind them why they don't want another 4 years of that just blathering, rambling, unfocused, cognitively suspect conversation. 800-920-1580. You're welcome to ramble around here, but most of y'all don't. Most of you are very, very succinct, to the point, got something to say. This ain't no RNC. This is KBLA, Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to here with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
It's better over here. If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has an exclusive rate plan just for you. Right now, get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings versus Verizon and AT&T. Plus, you can get one of the latest 5G phones free when you add a line. That's right, a free 5G phone. Experience all this and more on America's largest 5G network. So why wait? At T-Mobile, customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Just go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 or visit your local store to make the switch.
With AutoPay using debit or bank account plus taxes and fees, 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Free phones up to $300 off with 24 monthly bill credits and qualifying new line for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Contact us before canceling entire account to continue remaining bill credits. Bill credits end if you pay off device early. See details at T-Mobile.com.
Tune in to More Than That with Gia Peppers live this Sunday at 4 p.m. or wherever you listen to podcasts. This episode of More Than That is brought to you by Buick, combining beauty and technology to deliver luxurious experiences. Buick, exceptional by design. Finding a path to a meaningful career, one where you're making an impact and making enough money, it can be tough. There's one path, though, that many young adults are landing on that leads them to careers where they can work outdoors, protect our environment, take on climate change, and get paid while they train. It's the California Conservation Corps. You just have to be 18 through 25 years old to enroll, or a U.S. military veteran through age 29, and you have to be a California resident. That's it. There's no education requirement, no employment history needed. Some Corps members need to finish up high school. Others are college grads. But during their 1 year of service, all CCC Corps members can earn the work experience and certifications needed to become a wildland firefighter, forestry technician, install solar, or build trails in our state parks. Learn how you can enroll at ccc.ca.gov. Do this for you. Become the person you want to be through the California Conservation Corps.
Oh, man. Looks like Bobby needs a ride to the airport again.
Grab the keys.
Who's taking Auntie and her friends to the swap meet?
Grab the keys.
How about we drop these boxes off at Miss Johnson?
Grab the keys.
Whether you're giving rides or hauling gear, you're all about getting things done. So do it all in a Chevy SUV. From the versatile Equinox and sporty Blazer to the roomy Traverse, our lineup of SUVs will carry you through every adventure. All you have to do is...
grab the keys?
That's how we do. Head to your local Chevy dealer, where well-qualified buyers get 1.9% financing on all 2024 Malibu, Colorado, Blazer, Equinox, Trailblazer, and Traverse Limited models. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
1.9% APR for 36 months. Monthly payment is $28.60 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment 15.8%. Must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 7/1/24.
We're not for everybody, but we're for everybody. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
Well, yeah, 800-920-1580. That's the number to call. We got talk time today, so let's do it. Let's use it. Apparently, there's breaking news right now. There's a global technology outage going on at this moment as I speak. That's got flights grounded all around the world. Actually, many banks are down, and hospital systems are offline. And some media outlets are off the air today. It's a massive disruption, I'm reading right now in the LA Times, affecting companies and services around the world. And, it's just another reminder how much we really are dependent on software. Software from, not a big range of companies. And actually, it goes back to the conversation we had with William Hartung last week, which I would definitely recommend you check it out. It's on YouTube if you didn't listen, about how we're moving now our military into this tech space. And so this kind of outage or glitching or malfunctioning could be the wave of the future when it comes to war. Apparently there's a firm called CrowdStrike. It's a cybersecurity firm. They say that this is not a cyber attack, though. It's not a security incident. In other words, it's just a regular old glitchy mess up. And apparently it's a faulty update to Windows. So may want to hold off on that update for now, Miles, so we can stay on the air, please.
Looking at their stock right now, they took a hit this morning.
Yeah, I know. You guys might not realize Miles has become the stock market expert around here. I'm not mad at that. Make your money, but yeah, this is a huge problem. It's if you can delay your flight, you might want to do so. Anyway, you get a call, and you get a call, and you get a call, and right now it's Dwight, straight out of Compton. Good morning, Dwight.
Good morning, Dominique. I was mad at that caller you had yesterday attacking you with sound like one of them red pill guys who want to blame black women for all their troubles, because his wife left him. But shout out to you, Miles, Tavis, everyone there at KBLA. Thank you guys for having such a great radio station, Dominique. And remember, when you get those kind of calls, you got plenty of love on the other side, Dominique. But I just want to say how Republicans are so they contradict themselves all the time. Here they are so against immigrants, and Trump is married to an immigrant. And JD's wife's parents are immigrants from India.
And right. So
and then they complain about
mass
the wall.
Deportation, except for not our wives, please.
What are they gonna do? They're gonna deport JD's wife's parents and Donald Trump's wife. I mean, these Republicans are so but this has been an ongoing thing. And then I couldn't believe the Teamster Union president spoke at the Republican
Sean
convention.
Fain. Yeah, that was a fail.
Hate the unions. I mean, they are so contradictory. But this is an ongoing thing, Dominique, because going way back to what Cormel was mentioning about the crack epidemic, Ronald Reagan, a big hero, and Oliver North flooded America with cocaine, which started the crack epidemic to fund the war in Nicaragua, because then we had a Democratic Congress that wouldn't give Ronald Reagan money for his war. So what did he decide to do? Sell arms to Iran, and then transfer them to cocaine from Nicaragua, and then flood America with cocaine. But they never mentioned that. And then our own Congresswoman Maxine Waters had a big hearing about that years ago, where the CIA and Ronald Reagan was bringing cocaine into the black neighborhoods, You know, and the fentanyl now, everybody's on the fentanyl opioid, but the Oxycontin started with Purdue Pharma in Connecticut, and Rudy Giuliani was a lawyer who went to Congress to weaken the drug laws so they could flood Oxycontin all over the United States. So they're just so contradictory. I mean, here they are letting somebody that tried to overthrow the government is their big hero now. They're rerunning. They delayed his trials for so long that now they're trying to recycle him and rerun him again. And the 14th Amendment didn't say nothing about no immunity for the president. It said if you try to overthrow the government, you should be removed from office and you can never hold another government office again. So and even with dealing with Saudi Arabia, they so concerned with President Biden's son. And here's Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. He got $2 billion from the Saudis, and the Saudis to help them kind of refresh their image. And when they killed Khashoggi in the Washington Post journalist, and then most of the terrorists came from Saudi Arabia on 9/11. And what does Bush do? He attacks Iraq and have nothing to do with 9/11.
Boy, you're going all the way back to White. You got beef.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing new. These Republicans have been corrupt for a long, long time, Dominique.
Yeah, I think they have, but
show.
I think the level of prevarication has increased. I do think that's new. I think they used to pretend to have morals and scruples. I think they used to pretend to be to pretend. At least they used to pretend that they believed the tenets of their Christian faith. I think they used to pretend to be about family and staying married and all the things they preach. It's just shameless. That, to me, that's the difference under he who shall not be named. It's just shameless. I mean, he got up there last night and said, I will protect Social Security. Well, 2 months ago, he said that he's now open to cutting Social Security. And so what does he do? He lies about it. Why? Because people like me are saying a vote for Trump is a vote to defund your grandma, is a vote to starve black people and send more of them into the streets. And why is that? Because elders are the ones who are falling into homelessness. Elders, older people, and a disproportionate number of those are black. And if you look at what many black people rely on in retirement is Social Security. So he gets up there and lies and says, I will protect your Social Security. And by protect, I mean cut it so that we, the billionaires of the world, can pay less taxes because we don't need Social Security. Now there's just no shame. It's just blatant. We'll lie to you, and we'll lie when the truth will do. As Steve Harvey used to say, look, we're doing our Freedman Friday next hour. We have a special guest, Massachusetts State Senator Liz Miranda, joining us. The phone lines will be wide open in hour 3. They're open in hour 2 also. If you want to talk about reparations, hour 3, we can talk about whatever you want. So, if you're on, hold that thought. If you're not on, call me back. 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. I'm not even going to go to one of the folks on the phones because we only have 40 seconds, 35 seconds till news, traffic, and sports. But we do have a lot to talk about. Should Biden step aside? And count the lies. What did you see last night? I feel like the Republican Party is emboldened. I think they believe they are going to win, and that's why Trump was undisciplined in a rambling, incomprehensible 93-minute speech. I think they're doing too much, and I believe it's going to backfire on them, and they could end up losing because of their hubris. What do you say? It's KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
Thank you for joining us, everyone. I'm Mike Moore. Now here's the latest $1 billion in relief for public sector workers like teachers, nurses, and firefighters. Borrowers can